That's pretty good.
Is there a way to turn the breaker
No.
off?
Not sound like it.
I learned that yesterday.
What?
That there's no way to turn the sound off.
No, there's some cameras you can.
Yeah, on some of the older ones.
Oh,
This
yeah.
guy was like, why can't you just turn it off? Because that wasn't invented yet.
I just want it off till after. Sounds to you.
Hi, I'm Mustafa Abubaker. This is Immersive Atlanta. Today, we're here with Gulf Coast soul band, The Suffers. The Suffers released their album Everything Here in July 2018. It was their first release for Shinachi Entertainment, and it included guest appearances from Houston hip-hop legends such as Paul Wall and Bum B, who were absolute legends in their prime. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're on tour with Thievery Corporation.
Yes.
We're in Atlanta, Georgia.
Yes.
My first question for the both of you is, what is your earliest memory of music?
Singing in church and singing along the Disney movies.
For me, it was being at my grandfather's house, and they'd be playing like old style country music, him and some of his friends. That's what I remember. I remember not being able to touch his instruments or behind the TV. Yeah.
Leave them alone.
Yeah.
Do you have musical families?
Yes. Yeah.
So that was nurtured throughout.
Yes and no. I don't know about John's family. I have a lot of people in my family that pursued music at one time and then stopped, or maybe picked it back up in later life. But as far as I know, I'm the only one in my family to really pursue it professionally.
Who was the first person to formally address the band as The Suffers?
Well, I remember when we had the conversation of the name in the room, saying that we need to change it from The Sufferers, which it was in the very beginning, because people were basically falling on the name, calling us The Sufferers, The Stuffers. We saw all kinds of weird stuff, and so I think it was me or someone in the room that day was just like, how about The Sufferers? Just cut off something grammatically correct. And it just, we were all just kind of like, yeah, like, let's just try that. And it's stuck.
What do you remember about the very first song you wrote and recorded as a 10-piece band?
Ooh, that's hard.
I remember it taking forever. It was Slow It Down, and it was a branch off of an idea from this band that we previously played in called The Pocket, but it kept evolving as we worked on it more. And so when we first started recording, we had no intention of ever making full-length albums. It was just kind of a, let's do this for fun. We're having so much fun doing this project that it became a, all right, well, let's just see what recording it ourselves will sound like. And so that was the original vision, but what we thought would take, a few days took a few months before we finally got it done. But we got it done, and I'm happy with how it turned out. Even still today when I hear it, how big the sound is on there. We put our all into it, and I'm happy, even though it's not, as fancy as some of our later recordings were.
Yeah, we did it on our own, though. And I think our heart and soul got put into that. It's like our first thing that we did. So it's kind of important for us.
Fast forwarding to this past July, actually rewinding.
Yes.
Everything Here, the album.
Yes.
Second studio album by The Suffers. What was the first song recorded and finished for that project?
I Think I Love You.
Yeah. I say Do Whatever, but you're right. I think it was
Do Whatever was written before I Think I Love You, but I Think I Love You was finished first.
And the last song?
Charlotte.
Charlotte.
I don't know why I'm remembering all of this so vividly, but yeah.
The video for You Only Call is out now.
Yes.
What was it like creating that video, and what was the inspiration behind that?
This past year has been a really tough year on the band, and not only emotionally, but financially and just mentally. Just a lot of stuff has gone really wrong, and a lot of stuff has gone really right. But one thing that has kind of been the focal point of my positivity throughout is knowing that everything that we do, everything we've been through is a lesson. And You Only Call, the song itself, is a lesson about setting boundaries. And there's only one lyric in the song that I sing over and over again, which is "You only call when you need something." But the problem is that when we first released it, so many people only saw it for what it was, and I realized that there were two different types of people. The people that were like, "Oh, why would you waste 2.5 minutes on such a repetitive phrase that doesn't make any sense, that's boring, it's misguided or whatever." But the people that were also living in that mindset, people that have been used by other people that, and when I say used, I don't mean like just, oh, maybe somebody's using you for your money. People using you for your energy, people using you for your emotional, just connection and sensitivity that maybe you're able to offer to them. And it was a declaration of me just saying, I'm not going to give myself to everybody anymore. I'm going to establish boundaries, but also I'm going to celebrate myself. I'm going to celebrate my overcomings when I make it through the bullshit. And I'm not going to look back on these times when I am finally in that place of happiness and success that I want to be in. And so when Nick, our drummer, and I, we were in the middle of nowhere one night after a show and smoked a joint and for some reason started listening to, I think it was, we were listening to an Atlanta artist, Roman G. Arthur, who writes for Janelle Monáe, has this song called I-69, which I'm convinced is one of the most perfect songs of all time, from the way it sounds to the way it's arranged. And every time I listen to it, I always get crazy ideas. And so we were listening to it outside while we were smoking, came back in, and I'm looking at the hallways inside of this Hampton Inn hallway where we're supposed to be going back to our rooms. And I say, hey, can you just do this? Can you humor me for a second? And so I give this little mini speech about standing up for myself and defending myself and choosing me, choosing to love myself over catering to the needs or insecurities of other people. And the result was, all right, I'm going to do a joyful dance and joyful song, and You Only Call is exactly that.
Where were you all when the album cover for the project was shot?
That was House of Blues in Houston. It was actually just after was the benefit show?
Mm-hmm. We were about to go on stage.
Yeah, about to go on stage for the Harvey benefit. Right?
Yeah,
that's right.
Hurricane Harvey happened in Houston, not this past August, but the August before. And whenever there is a disaster, a lot of times people think that the only way you can be of service is by donating in that moment, volunteering in that moment, that moment. But there's no way that you can fix everything in that moment. And so instead of trying to be part of like the first, people to give back, the first people to be a part of a concert show, we wanted to do something more focused, that we could actually utilize our full power to give back to the community. And so we partnered up with Newport Folk Festival out of Newport, Rhode Island, and we basically brought a mini version of that festival to Houston, where we had Jim James from My Money Jacket, Shaky Graves, Texas Gentleman Joshua Sante from Amasa Hines, who shot that album cover actually, and Nick Watkins, just a bunch of different artists within that folk Americana realm. And we were very specific about who we wanted on that show, because we wanted it to be a very focused effort, a very focused just show. Because when you bring in so many different things, it becomes not so much about what it is that you're trying to help. And Newport does such a great job of making every artist feel good, not only about themselves, but about what it is that they're doing and what they're contributing to. And so we raised just under $80,000 for that, and where a lot of really good stuff came from it that we can't really talk about just because some of the people that got the money donated to them wanted to remain anonymous, but it's
100%
been such
proceeds went to the people.
100% everything, and it was just so cool to be a part of that.
Yeah. And so Joshua Asante, basically before he went on, he was like, "Can y'all just get in this elevator, freight elevator, real quick?" And we're like, "We got to go on." We're like, "Okay, fine." So we just go in there. He just boom, and that was it. And then later on, sent us the photo, and we're like, "Man," and that like captured the moment really well. We had no idea. So it ended up being our cover for our album, kind of randomly. Well, not random, but it was random in the moment.
This album is so steeped in soul and hints of this folk Americana, but also just a medley of genres. What was the conscious decision to bring these legends like Paul Wall and Bundy on the album, apart from their big Houston, given that they're primarily working rap and hip hop?
I'll let you finish with this, but I will say that we've established a relationship with them in the music world in Houston. We've actually backed them up on some of their songs. That's kind of how we met them on some concerts in Houston at festivals, playing their music. And so then we became the band that they wanted when we wanted something live or something happened. And so that was the relationship start.
What was the vibe like in the studio when they recorded these tracks with you?
Perfect.
Awesome. Bundy came in with his wife, and they're just really sweet. And part of his whole thing was he was just basically serenading her in front of us, kind of half jokingly, but he loves her, and it's kind of like high school love kind of thing. And we were feeling it, and we were like, "Wait a second, what'd you just do? Let's do that again." And so what went from him just doing his Bun thing, we actually got him to sing, which you don't really hear Bun sing very much.
He sounds good.
He sounds really good.
Isaac
And it
Keys.
was right in the tone of the song, and Paul Wall too, man. They're just such gentle giants.
Very positive, very encouraging, very, in my opinion, what OGs should be, where not only are they telling the world about young artists like ourselves, but they're immersing ourselves in our projects as well when we ask them to be a part of it, and vice versa. Paul has been very vocal on making sure that not only are we, up to date with our Grammy registrations, and like he's on the board for the Grammys. I believe one is the governor of the Texas Grammy board down in, I believe that's what he is. But there's all these different rankings of Grammys, but they're more so about the business and the community side of music as much as they are about, what everybody else sees, the girls and UGK and all the cars and shit. And it's beautiful to know that people that we looked up to growing up are just as awesome as we had hoped.
Longtime Heights area rock club Fitzgerald sold to a real estate developer earlier this year. And it's going to shutter for good after December 31st. That ends a decades-long run of rock and roll on White Oak. What are some of your fondest memories playing there? What is it about that venue that you'll hate to miss?
I cannot wait for it to close down. And the reason I say that is because the owner was revealed to be a racist runner of a club that she shouldn't have been in charge of in the first place. I was definitely a victim, not only of sexism there. I never dealt with her racism, but I definitely did deal with undercutting and getting paid less than what people that were not selling the club out got paid. And there's news stories about that if you really want to dive deeply into it. But my good friend Track Sounds, a producer in town, tried to book a show there last year for another rapper named Starlito. And she said that she went on this whole rampage. Forgot why she decided to use the N-word in her conversation to say that she didn't want any of that type of music in the club. But, she could have just said no, and instead of going, the professional route went that way, and then, you know, did the typical, oh, that's not what I meant, when all the news cameras started coming for her. And so around that exact same time, my friend Hannibal Burris and myself both like publicly denounced this club. I told them that we weren't ever going to play there again after that, and it'll be closing very soon. I can't wait to see it close. It is not the end of music on White Oak. It's not the end of live music in the Heights. There are many clubs from Heights Theater to White Oak Music Hall to Warehouse Live to the Secret Group to many other venues in Houston that give not only people of color an opportunity to be heard, but young musicians that have never gotten that opportunity to play, they give them the opportunity to play. Fitzgerald's was one of the last paid to play places, and it was very rare when you would get the money that you deserved to get and did bring those people in. Sorry, I don't mean to harbor as much resentment about this topic as I do, but fuck that place. I can't wait to see it go. I hope it becomes a parking lot first for a while, and hopefully whoever puts something there next, I hope it's a bunch of black people, to be honest. I hope they just build the blackest club ever and put it right there, but I know that's not what it's going to be. It'll probably be a condo.
Would you ever work with fellow Houston artist Travis Scott?
Yeah, I mean, we don't know him. We've never met him, but I think what he's doing right now, bringing Astro Festival back and being so vocal about his love for Houston, I think it's a very important thing, and I'm glad to see yet another artist getting that shine and doing so well and representing a city that we love so much.
What is something you wish you could see more or less of in Houston's music community when it comes to releasing records?
Industry guidance. There's a lot of folks there that are so talented that are just so beyond, but Houston is not Atlanta, it's not Nashville, it's not LA, it's not New York. You have people there that know what they're doing, but the thing is that they don't have the time to provide that guidance. And it would be lovely to see something like a BMI or an ASCAP office open in Houston. I know BMI just announced that they're bringing an office to Austin, which is wonderful, and it's not that far from Houston, it's about 2 hours. But the thing is that without guidance, without opportunity, without structured ways to progress within your field, and without being very vocal about the job opportunities that are there, it ends up suffering the same economics of any other city that has talented people. You know, same thing with y'all here. Atlanta 10 years ago isn't the Atlanta that it is now, where they have a bunch of films and TV shows and other things being filmed here that give opportunity to those people that need and want those jobs in those fields. The same thing could be said about music. While there are a lot of venues, the thing is until people know how to market, book, promote, and manage themselves, until they are at a level to where they can bring in that higher level representation, they're not going to get it done the right way. I have a bunch of people that I've been working with down there to try and bring very, very basic forms of that education. But at the same time, like I talked about earlier, I have to maintain my boundaries as well. I have a career, I have a band that I have to front and tour with, so I can't be that saving grace to these people. I can lead them in the right direction if they want to hear me, but you know, that's what it needs, is the industry.
While the band is in Atlanta, do you plan to create or reach out to Atlanta musicians and work on something here?
I wish.
Well, if we wish we had more time.
I wish.
Unfortunately, this show's a quick one. I mean, actually tonight afterwards we're driving probably a few hours out just to get to the next spot because we're chasing thievery this whole run. And they're on a tour bus, which means they get to sleep after the show. But for this one, we're in a van and trailer, so we got to be on it. But
yeah,
otherwise,
we gotta come back. We've spent this is I think our 4th time tonight playing Atlanta, and I'm really happy to be at the Tabernacle. But
What are you? Sorry, go ahead.
no. But the thing is that we haven't been in a situation yet to where we've been able to connect with more folks from Atlanta. But every time we come back, we meet more people that we love, more people that we're like, all right, next time we're here for longer than 5 minutes, we're working. So, yeah.
After tour wraps in March, what's next for the band?
Is it rapping? I was like, is that what it was? Yeah, I mean, we're already writing right now, new music and just constantly creating. I feel as though my mind doesn't work in a place where it stops our thing. It's just, okay, right now we're on tour. Okay, we'll be off in March. That doesn't mean we're going to be off in March. That means, okay, we're either writing or recording, working on something, maybe coming to Atlanta, meeting, making some friends. I don't know what it's going to be, but
That'd be nice.
we're always productive, always productive.
Prior to joining the Suffers, you were in the British band The Very Best. If you could speak to her now, what would you tell her?
I would say that not only will everything work out fine, it'll work out even better. So, yeah.
Best of luck to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Same to you.
Thank you.
Happy holidays.
This is Immersive Atlanta. This is The Suffers.
Thanks for what you do. Yep.
The crawling.